What if I told you that right now, inside your body, approximately 38 trillion living organisms are at work? The vast majority of them live in your gut, and whether these organisms are healthy or not affects far more than just your digestion. They directly influence your immune system, your mood, your energy levels, your skin health, and even how your brain functions. Hippocrates said it in 460 BC. All disease begins in the gut. There was no concept of the gut microbiome back then, no microscopes. Bacteria hadn't been discovered yet, but this great physician had sensed the truth and spoken it. Today, modern science is proving him right. An imbalance in your gut microbiome, what scientists call dysbiosis, has been directly linked to chronic inflammation, obesity, diabetes, depression, anxiety, autoimmune diseases, and even certain types of cancer. So how do you protect this balance? How do you restore it? Today I'm going to show you 10 foods that do exactly that, and every single one of them is easy to find. Let's begin. 10. Chamomile, Europe's gut medicine. One of the oldest medicinal plants in human history. Ancient Egyptians used it in burial rituals. Ancient Roman physician Dioscorides prescribed it for stomach complaints. In medieval Europe, it was known as the remedy for everything, and for centuries mothers across the world brewed it for their children when their stomachs hurt. There was a reason for that instinct. Chamomile contains natural compounds called apigenin, bisabolol, and chamazoline. Here is what they do inside your gut in simple terms. When your intestines are cramping, inflamed or irritated, these compounds act like a gentle hand that reaches in and relaxes the muscle. The spasms slow down, the bloating eases, the pain fades. This is why chamomile has been used for irritable bowel syndrome, stomach cramps, and digestive discomfort for thousands of years across completely different cultures. But chamomile does something else that most people don't know about. It acts as a prebiotic. That means it feeds the good bacteria already living in your gut. Specifically, it supports the growth of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, the beneficial bacteria your digestive system depends on. A healthier bacterial community means better digestion, stronger immunity, and less inflammation throughout your entire body. And here is the connection that surprises people most. Your gut and your brain are in constant communication through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. Your gut contains hundreds of millions of nerve cells that talk directly to your brain. Chamomile calms this entire pathway. That is why a single cup of chamomile tea can ease both your stomach and your anxiety at the same time. It is not a coincidence. It is biology. How do you use it? Add 1 teaspoon of dried chamomile flowers to a cup of hot water. Let it steep for 10 minutes. Drink it after meals or before bed. 2 cups a day is enough to feel the difference over time. 9. Dandelion, the natural prebiotic of the meadows. Dandelion, that yellow-flowered plant we pull out of our gardens and throw away. But the scientific world discovered its value a long time ago. In medieval Europe, it was known as pissenlit, French for wet the bed. Why? Because it had a powerful diuretic effect and was used to cleanse the liver. Dandelion roots and leaves contain a substance called inulin. Inulin is one of the most well-studied prebiotic fibers in the world. What does prebiotic mean? It is a fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, especially bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, but cannot be digested by you directly. You cannot break it down, but your good bacteria eat it, grow on it, and multiply because of it. This prebiotic effect of inulin has been confirmed in dozens of clinical studies. Regular inulin consumption increases gut microbiome diversity, raises short-chain fatty acid production, and strengthens the integrity of the gut wall. But dandelion's benefits do not stop there. It is an extraordinary supporter of the liver. By stimulating bile production, it directly improves digestion. The liver is a critical organ for gut health because it processes toxins, produces bile to digest fats, and influences the balance of your microbiome. When the liver works well, the gut works well. Dandelion is also a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. It reduces intestinal inflammation and lowers oxidative stress. How do you use it? Drink it as dandelion tea. Root tea is especially potent. You can find it in health stores or herbal shops, or add fresh dandelion leaves to your salads. The taste is slightly bitter, but pairs beautifully with lemon juice. 8. Aloe Vera, the healing plant of the deserts. Aloe vera is perhaps the most recognized medicinal plant in the world. Cleopatra used it in her daily beauty routine. Alexander the Great's army cultivated it to treat wounded soldiers. In Chinese medicine, it was known as the harmonious remedy plant. Most people know aloe vera for their skin, but what happens inside the body is far more interesting. Aloe vera contains a special polysaccharide called asemanon. In simple terms, this compound directly feeds and repairs the inner lining of your intestines. Leaky gut syndrome, which is an increase in intestinal wall permeability, is a trigger for chronic inflammation and many diseases. Aloe vera reduces this permeability and strengthens the gut wall from within. It is also powerful for constipation. Compounds called anthraquinones in aloe vera increase intestinal motility and produce a mild laxative effect. But here is an important warning. The outer latex layer of the leaf should not be consumed in high amounts because it can produce an extremely strong laxative effect. Only the inner gel should be used. It also has a prebiotic effect. Aloe vera gel supports the population of beneficial bacteria in your gut while inhibiting the growth of harmful pathogens. How do you use it? Take 2 tablespoons of ready-made aloe vera gel drink on an empty stomach every morning, or extract the inner gel from a fresh aloe vera leaf and add it to your smoothies. Daily and consistent use is what makes the difference. 7. Yogurt, the world's most ancient probiotic. Yogurt has been consumed for at least 10,000 years. It was discovered by accident in the Middle East and Central Asia, where milk stored in animal skin pouches fermented naturally in the heat. In the early 20th century, Nobel Prize-winning scientist Elie Metchnikoff proposed that the long lives of Bulgarian peasants were directly connected to their daily yogurt consumption. And he was right. Yogurt is one of the most studied foods in the history of nutritional science. And what research consistently shows is this: regular yogurt consumption directly influences the balance of your gut microbiome. Let us explain how it works in simple terms. Yogurt contains live bacteria, primarily lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strains. When you eat yogurt, these bacteria begin a journey through your digestive system. Some survive all the way to the colon. Once there, they compete with harmful bacteria for space and resources. They produce lactic acid, which creates an environment where dangerous pathogens struggle to survive, and they guide your immune system to respond more intelligently to threats. Clinical studies show that 4 weeks of daily yogurt consumption increases the presence of probiotic lactobacillus and bifidobacterium in the gut. Research also found that yogurt consumption in children infected with Helicobacter pylori restored a healthier bacterial balance in the gut and reduced the presence of the harmful bacterium. Beyond the microbiome, yogurt consumption has been linked to reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, lower cardiovascular disease risk factors, and improved immune function. These are not small claims. These are findings from large-scale observational studies involving tens of thousands of people. There is one important distinction you need to know. Not all yogurts are equal. Heat-treated yogurts, which are common in supermarkets, have had their live bacteria destroyed. You need yogurt that clearly states contains live and active cultures on the label. The more bacterial strains it contains, the better. How do you use it? 1 bowl of plain unsweetened yogurt every day. Add fresh fruit, a drizzle of honey, or a pinch of cinnamon. Avoid flavored yogurts with added sugar. Sugar feeds harmful bacteria and cancels out the benefits. 6. Artichoke, the prebiotic champion of the Mediterranean. Most of us use it in cooking, but rarely know how powerful it is for gut health. In the Middle Ages, it appeared on the tables of wealthy Europeans as both food and medicine. In southern France and Italy, traditional medicine still recommends artichoke for liver and digestive support. The reason artichoke is so powerful for the gut is the amount of inulin it contains. Artichoke is one of the richest known food sources of inulin per gram. And let us remember what inulin does as a prebiotic. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut and supports their growth and multiplication. This was not tested in a laboratory. It was tested on real people. A clinical study by Costabile and colleagues gave inulin extracted from artichoke to healthy adults for 3 weeks. The result was a significant increase in bifidobacterium, lactobacillus, and Bacteroides compared to placebo. This is direct evidence that artichoke improves the gut microbiome. The second major power of artichoke is liver support. A compound called cynarin protects liver cells and stimulates bile production. Bile is essential for digesting fats. When the liver functions well, the entire digestive system functions better alongside it. The third effect is digestive enzyme activation. Artichoke significantly reduced indigestion, bloating, and heaviness after meals, especially after fatty foods. Multiple randomized controlled trials have confirmed this. How do you use it? Eat it boiled with olive oil and lemon, a combination that works beautifully. Artichoke tea or artichoke extract capsules are also effective alternatives. 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient. 5. Green tea. 4,000 years of gut friendship. Green tea is one of humanity's oldest beverages. Japanese Zen monks drank it alongside their meditation practice for centuries. Korean, Indian, and Middle Eastern cultures have consumed it for thousands of years for its health benefits. The effect of green tea on the gut microbiome has become an important focus of research over the past decade. The catechins it contains exert a selective effect on gut bacteria. What does that mean in practice? They suppress the growth of harmful bacteria, particularly Clostridium and Fusobacterium strains. At the same time, they support the multiplication of beneficial lactobacillus, and bifidobacterium strains. In other words, green tea essentially cleans and reorganizes your gut environment. Beyond that, green tea reduces intestinal permeability. In leaky gut syndrome, the tight junction proteins in the intestinal wall become damaged and allow harmful substances to pass into the bloodstream. Green tea catechins strengthen these proteins and preserve the integrity of the gut wall. Studies on inflammatory bowel diseases are also noteworthy. In patients with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, green tea consumption was shown to reduce inflammation markers. And there is one more thing worth mentioning. Green tea supports the gut-brain axis. The amino acid L-theanine it contains is both calming and focusing at the same time. By balancing the gut microbiome, it helps lower cortisol levels, which is the primary stress hormone in the body. How do you use it? 2 to 3 cups of green tea per day is ideal. Use water at 70 to 80 degrees Celsius because boiling water can destroy the catechins. Steep for 2 to 3 minutes. Adding lemon increases the absorption of catechins significantly. 4. Oats. The prebiotic power in everyone's kitchen. Ordinary looking, extraordinarily effective. Humanity has been growing oats for more than 4,000 years. During the Roman era, they spread across Europe as a staple food. In Scotland and Ireland, they became the primary source of nutrition due to the harsh climate and became synonymous with the resilience of those communities. So why does modern science take oats so seriously? Because of the beta-glucan fiber they contain. Beta-glucan is a special polysaccharide found in the cell walls of oats. When it dissolves in your digestive system, it forms a thick, gel-like substance. And this gel does several important things inside your gut. First, it slows down digestion. It prevents the sudden spike in blood sugar that occurs after meals. Second, its prebiotic effect. Beta-glucan is fermented by the beneficial bacteria in your gut. It specifically feeds and multiplies bifidobacterium and lactobacillus strains. Multiple clinical studies have shown that oat consumption significantly increases the presence of these beneficial bacteria in the gut. Third, short-chain fatty acid production. When gut bacteria ferment beta-glucan, they produce short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, decuinamide, propionate, and acetate. Butyrate is particularly remarkable. It is the primary energy source for intestinal cells. When butyrate levels are sufficient, the gut wall is strong, not permeable, and free of inflammation. Fourth, cholesterol-lowering effect. The ability of oat beta-glucan to significantly reduce LDL cholesterol has been confirmed by dozens of randomized controlled trials. As a result, the FDA, the United States Food and Drug Administration, approved an official health claim for oats, allowing manufacturers to state on packaging that oats may reduce the risk of heart disease. How do you use it? Half a cup of oatmeal for breakfast in the morning. Add fresh fruit, cinnamon, and a little honey on top. Oat flour and oat milk are also good alternatives. Approximately 70 grams of oats per day provides the 3 grams of beta-glucan needed to achieve meaningful health benefits. 3. Kombucha. From China to the world, the 2,000-year story of fermented tea. This drink that has exploded in popularity around the world in recent years is actually very old. In 220 BC, it was known in Manchuria as the tea of immortality. It spread to Russia and Eastern Europe, and in the early 20th century, people began making it at home under the name tea mushroom. From there, it spread across the entire world. So is this popularity deserved? Kombucha is made by fermenting sweetened tea with a culture of bacteria and yeast called a SCOBY. During this fermentation process, organic acids, B vitamins, enzymes, and probiotic bacteria are formed. A landmark clinical study from Stanford University in 2021 showed that fermented foods including kimchi, kefir, and kombucha significantly increase gut microbiome diversity and reduce systemic inflammation markers. The study followed 36 healthy adults over 10 weeks. Every single participant in the fermented food group showed an increase in microbiome diversity. The organic acids in kombucha, particularly acetic acid, and gluconic acid suppress the growth of harmful bacteria. This antimicrobial effect makes the gut environment more favorable for beneficial bacteria to thrive. Its antioxidant content is also high. The polyphenols coming from the tea become more bioavailable during the fermentation process, meaning your body absorbs them more easily and efficiently. One important note when buying kombucha, always check the sugar content. Some commercial brands add sugar after fermentation to improve the taste. Choose versions with low or no added sugar, or better yet, make it at home. How do you use it? 200 to 300 milliliters per day, roughly 1 small glass is sufficient. Start with a small amount to let your stomach adjust gradually. 2. Anki. Kimchi and fermented vegetables. From Korea to science to Makita, the miracle of fermentation. Kimchi, sauerkraut, gemikak, pickled beets, pickled cucumbers, olives, Humanity has been fermenting foods for thousands of years. In the beginning, it was purely for preservation. There were no refrigerators, no antibiotics. Fermentation kept food from spoiling for months, even years. But in the process, without realizing it, they were creating the most powerful probiotic foods known to the world. Korea's fermented cabbage, kimchi, is one of the most studied fermented foods in the world. The lactobacillus bacterial strains living inside it are extraordinarily powerful. When these bacteria reach your gut, they settle in, multiply, and compete directly with harmful bacteria for dominance. Let us talk about the Stanford study. 36 healthy adults consumed fermented foods, including kimchi, at up to 6 portions per day. After 10 weeks, gut microbiome diversity increased significantly. On top of that, 19 different inflammation proteins, including markers associated with chronic diseases, dropped to meaningfully lower levels. Sauerkraut, which is fermented cabbage, is just as powerful as kimchi. Fermented cabbage contains far more lactobacillus compared to plain, unfermented cabbage. There is one very important note here. Pasteurized and sterilized pickles contain no probiotics whatsoever. Many pickles sold in supermarkets are produced with vinegar and have been heat treated. There are no live bacteria in these products. Always choose pickles made through real fermentation, meaning made with nothing but salt and vegetables. How do you use it? Start with 1 tablespoon per day. Increase gradually as your gut adjusts. Add it to salads, sandwiches, or serve it alongside your main meals. 1. Kefir from the Caucasus Mountains to the world. The secret of longevity. Kefir has been consumed in the Caucasus Mountains for more than 3,000 years. According to legend, it was gifted by the Prophet Muhammad to the mountain people of the Caucasus and was called the grain of paradise. It spread to Russia and Eastern Europe. When Russian scientists discovered it in the 19th century, the world began to take notice. So why is kefir so powerful? Kefir is the richest known probiotic source in the world. Compared to a simple yogurt, kefir contains dozens of different bacterial and yeast strains, not just lactobacillus, but also leuconostoc, bifidobacterium, streptococcus, and multiple yeast species. This diversity matters because the more diverse your gut microbiome is, the healthier it is. According to the most recent research published in 2025, the Lactobacillus kefiri and Leuconostoc mesenteroid strains found in kefir adhere to the intestinal epithelium and establish permanent colonization. In other words, when you drink kefir, these bacteria do not simply pass through, they settle into your gut and stay. Kefir is not only beneficial for the gut. Research shows that kefir consumption also positively influences sleep quality, mood, and cognitive function. The reason is the gut-brain axis. When your gut microbiome becomes balanced, serotonin production improves, and the brain benefits directly from that shift. There is also good news for people with lactose intolerance. The bacteria in kefir break down most of the lactose during fermentation. This is why many people who react to regular milk can tolerate kefir without any problem. Lactose-free kefir and water kefir are also available as alternatives. How do you use it? 150 to 200 milliliters per day, ideally in the morning, on an empty stomach. You can also add it to smoothies or salad dressings. When buying from supermarkets, always choose versions with no added sugar. Today I showed you 10 foods: chamomile, dandelion, aloe vera, yogurt, artichoke, green tea, oats, kombucha, kimchi, and kefir. This is not a diet list. This is a way of living that humanity has instinctively known to be right for thousands of years, and that science is now confirming with clinical evidence. Hippocrates said it 2,500 years ago. All disease begins in the gut. Today, science is proving him right and adding something more. Gut health is not just about digestion. It is about your immunity, your mood, your energy, your skin, and even your thoughts. Pick one of these 10 foods. Start today. One small habit. Consistently. You will feel the difference within weeks. Write in the comments which food you are starting with. I read every single one. And give your body what it deserves every single day.